What is going on, everybody? My name is Peter Del Tondo, and I am your host for the next 2 weeks here for the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenges. And I'm excited. Today, we're going to be jumping right into stacks, which is a really new and exciting feature here in Adobe XD. So let's take a look and see what we're going to be doing and show you along the way how this all works out. Definitely see some familiar faces in here. Cindy saying, nice to see you. Aaron, Laura, we've got Sam in here and Mike. Thank you all for tuning in and really excited to kick off. So the next 2 weeks, let me show you what we're going to be doing and how this all works out. So let's come on over to my screen over here. If you have not yet signed up for these challenges, make sure to go ahead and do so over at behance.net/challenge/XD. And over here, you'll be able to sign up and take these challenges. You'll get reminded each day. We'll be streaming every day at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we have a blast. These shows about 25 minutes long. We're going to go quick. We're going to cover a lot of ground, and it's going to be really fun. And then usually every evening, I'm going to be doing a live stream on my own personal Behance. So make sure you follow me at behance.net/Peter Del Tondo. And every night I'll do a live stream and I'm going to go over the projects that you are all working on, give feedback and critique. And I always feel like watching even the feedback of other people and other projects is really helpful because you learn from that. So make sure you jump in and participate in that as well. So each day you're going to see here, we unlock these challenges every morning, and this will give you the file, the starter file for each day. And so we'll kind of jump into that here in a second. Lastly, as I find all these links on my stream deck, if you have not, jump on into Discord and join us. That's where all the communication outside of the live stream happens. And as we head back over to Discord, so many things going on. We come over here. This current challenge is where we are going to live and breathe right now. So as we come down, what you're going to want to do is come on in here, drop a link to ideally your Behance project for these challenges, or you can drop a video or an image, and we'll come in, myself and other mentors. We see Alexis Bustos, who is just on, and others will be giving feedback and input on your projects throughout the next 2 weeks. Now, all of these challenges are independent of each other on each day, which means it's not one big project. If you miss a day, don't sweat it. Just come back in and join us on that. So today's challenge might be kind of not repeated, but you're going to see it resurface. We're going to design a couple different sections of this type of application. So there will be a couple of occasions where we'll revisit, allow you to take some of the feedback that maybe you got before and apply it into something else, and give you an opportunity to improve on those projects as you go. So I'm really excited to see that. I've never done that in a challenge setup before, but I think it could be really interesting. So we'll see how it goes. A few more folks joining in. Joshua, Christina, Malind, thank you all for tuning in. Glad you're here. The fact that you were here and showing up means that you are excited to learn and investing in yourself. And that's why I love doing these challenges, because I love teaching people that want to get better at what they do. So make sure you check out the current challenge. Check out some other channels here. It's a great place to get connected with the community. All right, with that said, let me double check if there's anything else I wanted to make sure of. All right, let's jump right into stuff. So what you're going to see each day, the way I set up these files is it's going to show today's date, what the kind of challenge and objective is going to be. So today we are going to design the timeline experience for a project tracker using stacks to quickly add and organize tasks. And so you could try putting in maybe some of the individual tasks that you're going to work on throughout the week. But there's some cool things that you'll be able to do with that. And this is a view that we use and operate every day at Unfold, the agency that I work at. It's really helpful for us in kind of a Gantt chart view to see what's going on and make sure that where we're at in our projects is right. So coming down here and going down to this inspiration, this is something that I find is really important to take a look and see, how some other applications are set up, taking a look at things and trying to understand what and why some decisions are being made. And one thing that I see immediately throughout this is color. The use of color is really important to identify different tasks and deliverables, really helps separate things out. I like how in this one there's some different shapes and kind of grids that are helping separate the days. Whereas in this view, it just feels kind of blanketed and empty. So take a look at these different items, go research, check out tools. We use ClickUp over at Monday, or excuse me, ClickUp over at Unfold. We used to use Monday, and we've used Team Gantt and Trello and stuff like that in the past. Go study these applications and understand why things are working and why things aren't, and then apply that to your design. So first and foremost, definitely takes a minute, do some research on any type of project that you're working on. It's going to be really helpful. We've also got some great resources at the bottom of each of these as well. So make sure to check out and utilize things like Adobe Fonts. Google Fonts is great as well for some free licensing, but if you've got an Adobe account, you've got access to all these fonts too. We've got Nucleo app, flat icon. You're going to see me use Nucleo app. It's really handy to be able to search and look for icons on the fly. So really some useful stuff in here that you can check out, and some of our favorite plugins as well. So without further ado, let's check this out. I've got a couple of things here ready to help me speed up for today, since we've got a limited time. We've got about 20 minutes left to design this whole thing. So let's jump right in and see how we could go about this. So I've got this little logo that I'm going to use. I'll keep a copy of it over here off to the side. And I'm just going to put this up at the top as though it is part of my banner. And I could come in here. I'm gonna pump this up. I like that the Unfold watermelon color over here. I'm gonna utilize that. Just give it a little bit of that watermelon flair. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start breaking up my page, and I wanna create my navigation area. So I'm gonna remove that border. I'm gonna give this just a really light gray. I'll even just pull this background for the moment. I'm gonna make that height 1. And this is gonna kind of ground the top of my application. And then I'm gonna go into Nucleo, and I can come in here and say search. And it's gonna really quickly, if I say I want a line icon, I want it to be, let's go maybe 24 pixels. I can really quickly get in there. I always like this one with the little shine. And now I'm just gonna drag that over and pull that into my app. And so now I can come in here and I'm gonna balance this out. Cool. This guy in, and let's put this behind. Let's do, again, I'm gonna lighten this up later, but we'll do a little search bar in the background. I'm gonna put that behind that and kind of anchor that off to the side. All right. And yeah, we'll just kind of cheat this at the moment. Let's bring this down to like here. And oops. I'm gonna go a little darker on that icon. All right, perfect. So now I've got that set up. I can come in here and I'll probably shrink this down later. But again, I'm gonna move quick today. There's always a lot of ground to cover in these challenges. So we can come back and modify some of this stuff more later. And let's see, Kendall, I know this is late, but I saw School of Motion Designs. Yes, Unfold, we got to do the School of Motion website and product design earlier this year. Yeah, I think a little bit end of last year and 2020. And then the team over at Blind, Christo and his team actually did the branding on that. So that was a cool 1-2 punch that we got to work on. It was a lot of fun and great product. We've been School of Motion users for a long time. All right, so next I'm gonna come over and I wanna set up another rectangle over here to the side. So I'm gonna remove this. I'm just gonna set up kind of like a project navigation bar over here. So we'll set something up like this. We'll set up another bar down below. And that is awesome to hear you're doing School of Motion. I highly recommend it. For anybody that is looking to learn that stuff, that is the place to go. And it's really an awesome site. They really take care of the students over there. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start setting up this navigation bar. And we'll do like a little user profile down here. And again, I'm not being precise with stuff. It's driving my OCD mad, not being on that 8-pixel grid, but we're going quick. So let's set this up now. I want a couple more icons. So let's do like a cogwheel. Let's do, this one's fine. And we'll do maybe like a help or something like that. All right. So coming in here, we'll do something like this. Another one here. And again, not being precise on this, but we're getting going. All right, I'm just gonna grab this color as well. Close enough. All right, cool. So we've got that down. Now we want to set up a couple of projects. And so I'm going to set up just some squares here. Pull these in a little bit. Let's make it like 32. And these are always good to have like kind of color coordinated. We're going to soften this up a little bit. So I'll give it a little pixelation. And then by default, this is probably going to be like client initials. So we might say something along these lines. And I'm going to bring this text down a bit. And we'll just make that text white for the moment. So again, not necessarily precise, but we can set up a couple of these. And I'm just going to change the color. So we've got some variation. Let's go something like this. And if you guys could hear my kids downstairs, you would be laughing too right now. And yes, I am on Windows. I made the switch like 2 years ago and it's been fantastic. I highly recommend you do it. All right, so I'm gonna bring this up a little bit. We're gonna get into a border here and we'll just do that same color at the moment. Okay. Cool. So that'll just be like our active state for this. I'll make it maybe a little bit bigger and I might round that up a little bit more just so that feels a little bit more on track. Cool. And again, I'm moving really fast. I would space these things out. I'm going to change the colors, but for today and the purposes of what we're doing, this is going to be just fine to show a simulation. So now over here, I can see the different projects. I could throw in things like different letters, or I could throw in a graphic, a logo of a company, anything you want to put in here. I highly recommend update that, make it as realistic as possible. And next, what we're going to do is I'm going to probably cheat this one a little bit and pull over what I've got because I want to make sure we have plenty of time for the meat and potatoes of this. So I'm going to pull this over here and we'll come in. I think I updated these colors to our unfold watermelon. So I'm going to update these. There we go. That looks good. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is let's create an area for our chart. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up. I want to give it, I could either give it a little bit of a background and, maybe it's that kind of off-white color, something like this that creates some separation. We want to have that kind of hierarchy here throughout the design. And then I could even come in and maybe I want to create, say, a line. And so I'll do that here. And maybe I want to give it some dashes. So I'll do something like this. I might want it to be the same color. Why can't I grab you? There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this over. I'll nudge this out. Let's go like 30, 40 pixels. And now I could use that repeat grid. And I'm just going to keep building a couple of these out. And then I'm going to stretch this out. So once again, this goes out 40 pixels. Very cool. And now I've got a repeated pattern that has created that separation that we talked about throughout. So really, really cool to do that. Makes things really, really fast and easy. Now, here's kind of where we're gonna get into stacks. So what I've done is I've created this element over here. And now with this, I want this to be that timeline. And so, you know, we'll add stuff up here as well. We'll do up here, this would be like a time bar where we've got dates on each of these. We'll add that later. That's not what we're going to focus on. But coming here, I want to add in what these items are. So we might do things like design. And then we want to have an item that says development or QA and whatnot, kind of go through this project as we go about. Now, as we jump into this, I'm going to set this group up. So I have a group of layers. And in here, I've set, you could either do auto responsive, or in this case, I've set some of these so that way they stay the same width. It stays anchored to the left and to the top and to the bottom. And by doing so, it's going to allow me to have this cool element that I can now move and shrink unless you get too small, but I can make this as long or as short as I want, and it's going to adjust with me. Now, where this gets really cool is that I can come in now and start to set up stacks. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to gather a couple of these items, and I'll just do something like this. And I'm going to group them, and I'm going to hit stack. And now what I can have is this group of items. And now you can see I can set these up and I can start moving things around. And so this could give me, this could give me flexibility to move things in this fashion. And I can move things up and down. So I can add different items and elements to this. And so this is really cool because it would allow me to come in now and say, design. I can set this up and say design will go for a couple of weeks. And then I can bring this over here and have development. I can move this over. And now I've got QA. QA is going to be a little bit shorter. And so really quickly, I'm able to set these up and have a really, really easy time maneuvering these things around. And where it gets cooler is that I could set up another group of these. And again, I could group that. I can apply stacks. And let's come in and let's change the color on these items. So make sure I've got the right layers. Oh, I think I grabbed the text on that too. 1 second. We'll just change this to something less annoying. Okay, so we've got this here. All right, and now we can add, one more. So now what's really neat about this is that if I wanted to, I could get into different styles. I can set them up where they're going to move side to side, or they're going to vertically stack. There's a lot of things that I can do with that. And what's really neat with this is that as I bring over this other item, cool, we bring this over, I can set this up too so that now I've got it masked within this container shape, so I can kind of even, maybe alluding to some things we'll do in a future week, hand through and prototype this out. But what's really cool is that based on how these stacks are built, I can come in and again, I could, that's the wrong hotkey. I could come in and I can move them. So I can move these things around really easily and change the order of them. But then if I want to come in and say, hey, you know what, development's not going to take as long as I thought. Let me move this over, and all of a sudden my timeline can update with me. And so this is a really cool tool, and something that if you're a freelancer and maybe you're not looking to spend money at the moment on some more expensive software for project management, and you want to be able to build your own Kanban board, your own Gantt chart, it is totally possible to do that here within Adobe XD. So yes, it's cool from a prototyping standpoint to learn and know how to utilize stacks, but there's actually an opportunity for you to use this as a day-to-day tool and organizer in your projects. So once again, just coming in here, we see how these all coordinate and work together, and we can just quickly change these timelines, move these things around and adjust everything that we're doing. So it's really, really cool to be able to quickly and easily work this way and manipulate your files. So let me catch up on the chat here and see if I missed any questions or whatnot. And yes, we did fly. Like I said, I'm always so worried with such a small window of time that it's not enough time to actually get through the exercise and design it. And when you guys build this stuff out, I try to say plan for 30 to 60 minutes for these challenges. Try not to go too far over unless you really want to build something out that's like a super stunning portfolio piece. The big thing that I'm looking for when I review your projects is going to be more around, did you understand the mechanics of the exercise? Did you get stacks to work? So in this particular exercise, this is one that in order to see if you understood and were able to use it, I'm going to ask you to upload a video rather than just a static image, because it's really important to see and understand, did you get the concept of being able to move things around in stacks? Did you understand how to utilize these features? Were you able to understand what the difference is between horizontal and vertical stacks? And so play with that stuff and experiment and see what's working, find new ways to utilize it. But there's a lot of cool things that you can build with this, building out, say, content. Even if we were to come over here really quickly, and if we were to put in, say, a stock image of something, let's do surfing. Ooh, this guy's shredding. Apply. And if we were to do something where we created headline text, let's make that something slightly more professional looking and less tiny. Let's go 32. And then maybe we did paragraph, text goes here and tells an interesting story of things. Okay, and then let's bring that down to 16, and I'm going to give this a little bit of a container. Okay, so what's really cool about this now, going back into how this works, I'm going to group this up, we'll align everything, and then we're going to create that stack. And what's cool is that as you're prototyping things out, maybe you want to try the headline at the top of the page. Maybe you want to move the graphic down to the bottom. You're able to really quickly manipulate this stuff, but keep consistent spacing and padding and easily move stuff around, where before you would have had to like move this, then move the other item up. Everything that this is trying to do and solve is really around speeding up your workflow. So anything that I can do, any of the plugins that I utilize are always to speed up my workflow and make me a quick and efficient designer. And that's really where I think Stacks excels. When you start building things out like buttons and whatnot, it's really cool to be able to utilize that. Yes, you can't game on Macs, which is sad. By the way, Fall Guys is the greatest. Fall Guys is the greatest game of all time. Andrew just got me hooked yesterday. If anyone wants to play with us later, let us know. Why play later tonight or something? Let's see what else we got in chat. Which plugin? So this plugin here is called Stock Image. And this is great because it searches Adobe Stock and allows me to try out these items. And then if I want later, and I'm actually going to utilize it in my project, because you need to make sure that you have a license for that, it will allow you to grab that and auto license it with your Adobe account and your Adobe stock credits. So really, really cool feature. And let's see, while we got your second left, let's take a look at our lineup for today. So one of my best friends, Andrew Hockrattle, who I know is here in chat, is also going to be on with Jordan IoT again. They're doing Design in the Dark. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you stay tuned for that one. And what emoji should we send them off with? We're gonna blast them again with something. We did like rockets and space themed yesterday. Let me know, what should we send them off with? We got another minute or two to decide. Let's switch back over to my screen. All right, so just to do a quick recap and then we'll wrap up for the day. Stacks, super fun feature, being able to quickly and easily space out features and content in your designs. Just like we see over here, being able to come in and easily maneuver and manipulate things. This is just a really, really cool feature. So I'd love to hear how you're using it, how you've been able to speed up some of your workflow. Again, make sure you follow me on Behance. I'll be doing a review stream probably tomorrow. I'll start that once the challenges start rolling in from today, so you have some time to work on that. And then each day we'll spend a couple hours reviewing the projects. So make sure you stay tuned for those. If you have any questions, hit me up in Discord. Make sure you chat with each other. It's an awesome community over there. And I will be back tomorrow at the same time, and we'll have another fun and exciting project to work on. Have a great day, everybody.